in the air are being ordered to land. The highest security clearances, highest levels of security are being ordered across the country.
Okay, there are also now unconfirmed reports of anonymous planes in Virginia, right around the airspace of Virginia. So they're focusing their attention now on that as well. We have no idea, obviously no idea, who might be responsible for this. No one has claimed responsibility, and we have no idea of the magnitude of the human casualties. We can only imagine as this happened during the start of the workday here in New York and in Washington, D.C.
And you'll remember back in 1993, Lynn, at the attack of the World Trade Center then, that later on, as the entire scope of the plot began to be learned, that they believed they had plans. They believed they had uncovered plans where terrorists were then waiting for people to flee Manhattan and bomb possibly the George Washington Bridge, right, or the Holland or Lincoln tunnels.
Now you're looking at
for that reason, everything is closed out in and out of the city.
And this is a shot you're seeing right there of the earlier attack back in '93 of the World Trade Center. 6 people died in that attack. There were a few people who went to trial for that, still serving time for that, convicted of that. And the message after that was that there is more to come. We've heard rumors of that. We've been on alert for that for several years. And a lot of precaution has been taken. But there is no precaution that you can take in airspace, obviously, from what we've seen. 2 planes crashing right into the upper floors of the World Trade Towers. The first one, the upper floors. The second plane crashing into the center.
Here's one more update from Washington, Lynn. The AP is reporting that a car bomb has exploded outside the State Department.
This is live Washington that you're seeing right now. All right,
we don't know exactly what the location is there, but emergency vehicles perhaps heading to the State Department. Once again, reports that a car bomb has exploded outside the State Department. No word at all yet on what the extent of the damage would be from that.
And President Bush on the air live a little while ago saying that this country is under a terrorist attack, and that's obviously exactly what is happening here. We don't know the full scope of it yet. We are watching it unfold as you do.
Well, yeah, nobody knows the full scope of it, even the people at the highest levels. President Bush, who is in Sarasota, Florida, I believe visiting a school at the time he was notified of this, has sent his sympathies to any people impacted by this tragedy. He's ordered a full-scale investigation to, quote, hunt down the folks who committed this act.
All right, we were speaking to a terrorist expert. I don't know if we still have the doctor on the line. Dr. Kushner, can you hear? I'm sorry, he has left us for the moment. Hopefully we'll get back to him. We do have crews on the way to the scene, but we've been telling you the problem with most broadcasting in and around this area is that we're not being allowed to get close to the scene for obvious reasons. But we do have Melinda Murphy in the area. She is in Chopper 11. She's been reporting all morning that there's debris coming out of the building, and it looks like the building is actually buckling now, and this is the second tower of the World Trade Center, the first tower completely demolished at this point.
If you are just joining us, this is not some sort of a bad dream you're looking at right there. That is the World Trade Center -1 tower. The second tower collapsed earlier, about an hour after the impact from a jetliner, which was apparently deliberately flown into it.
Yes, and from a hijacked plane, from what we're told. Again, the first plane crash, the plane hijacked, according to the FBI, according to AP, out of Boston. The second, right out of Newark Airport. Okay, we've got Sukanya Krishna now. Sukanya, what can you tell us?
Lynn, we're on the street here on 42nd and 2nd Avenue just to give you an idea of what's going on. It seems like it's rush hour right now. You can see we're at a phone booth. A lot of people trying to get in touch with their loved ones. I was one of those on a cell phone, sir. Were you able to get service with that?
No.
As a result of no service, you've got people that are just trying to get in touch with anyone who is downtown. Ma'am, can you just be careful? As you can see, some people obviously very emotional here. If you can just take a look over here. People trying to figure out what is going on. The whole consensus is out on the street. Not a lot of people really understand what is happening on the streets of New York. If you can take a look, a lot of people have come up to me, asked me questions. Do you know what's going on? A lot of people are unaware, but what we can tell you is that a lot of businesses are letting people go. If you could take a look down here on 2nd Avenue, a lot of the people are coming this way. Also, you're hearing fire engines, you're hearing police trucks, just a slew of activity as people are trying to make a mad dash. But the problem is, as we have been notifying people, all bridges and tunnels are closed, as well as what we are seeing, a lot of buses are not in service. So at this point, if you are in Manhattan, my understanding is you should stay in Manhattan or try and stay in this vicinity because the roadways are clogged. I'm going to try and talk to some people and see if they have an idea of what's going on. Ma'am, were you let out of work early today? You're on live, Channel 11.
I was at the work. I work on 55 Water, Petite Waterhouse. We saw the whole thing.
You saw everything.
The plane hit. We saw the second plane. We saw when the thing blew up, the fire, and we lost it. Everybody just left. That was it.
Can you just tell me, you were on the ground. Tell me your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Jeanette.
Jeanette. You're obviously very emotional. Jeanette. I know. I can totally understand that. Yes, go ahead, Jim.
Tanya, as you basically informed some people what happened, assuming some people had no idea what was happening, what kinds of reactions are you getting from people?
Oh,
there
look at
goes
this.
the second tower.
You're going to the second tower. You're looking at this live right now.
Okay.
Both towers now completely destroyed of the World Trade Center. You have no idea how many people may have been in those buildings. We have no idea. This is a major communication center for this city, for this country. Many government offices in those towers. Amazing video as you're watching it now. It's not video, it's live. It's right before your very eyes.
The World Trade Center is gone, ladies and gentlemen.
Both buildings collapsing from apparent terrorist attacks. And we want to just take you through this. The first explosion happened right after 8 o'clock this morning. We're being told that a plane was hijacked from Boston Airport. It flew into the second tower of the two World Trade Center towers. The second plane, coming 18 minutes later, flew into the first tower, into the middle part of that first tower. It exploded inside the building, coming from the back all the way into the front of the building. A few minutes later, here's a look at the second plane hitting. A few minutes later, there was a report in Washington that the Pentagon had been hit, and there was a report that the tail end of a plane had exploded into the Pentagon. You're looking now again at a shot that happened at about 9:15, 9:14 this morning. This is what's happening. Then after that, the first tower collapsed. You can see that. That was right around 10 o'clock, maybe a little bit before 10 o'clock. It's about to collapse, the first tower of the World Trade Center. Shortly after that, as we were saying, the second tower. The tower was buckling, there was debris falling from it, and then a half hour later, this is what you saw just a few seconds ago right here live. The second tower collapses. The human toll untold right now. We have no idea how many people were in those buildings or around the buildings.
If they were trapped inside,
we have no idea at this point.
What was going on down below.
We do know that the stock exchange has been closed. Buildings in the area have been evacuated. Penn Station evacuated. The airports have been shut down because of the hijackings involved. Now, we're told of the two here in New York. We were telling you earlier about the Pentagon also being under attack, and here you're seeing that now, a plane crashing into the Pentagon. The Pentagon was evacuated. The west wing of the White House has been evacuated. Another building nearby has been evacuated, and there was just a report of a car bomb also
outside the State Department
in Washington.
So some sort of grand terrorist plan is being executed here. I think what is striking, is going to strike a lot of people, is that there apparently was absolutely no word, no intelligence whatsoever, no forewarning whatsoever about the possibility of such an attack even being
You hear
imagined.
threats all the time, Jim, and you hear them, and you always think you're safe. You always think, okay, the FBI is on top of this. It can't happen. It will never happen here. But you can never feel too safe, apparently, from what we're watching now. We started out this day, a beautiful, clear day, and before we knew it, one tower of the World Trade Center was exploding, a plane crashing into it, a hijacked plane, of all things, a hijacked plane coming out of Boston exploding into it, and then a second one exploding into it. There you're looking at it, Washington right now. That is New York City right now. That is the leveling of the World Trade Center. The landscape will never be the same.
Will never be the same in Manhattan.
Never be the same in Lower Manhattan.
That has become the landmark that has anchored the lower end of Manhattan, and it is gone today. We also just heard that all international flights coming into New York or Washington are being diverted to Canada, so they're not even letting international planes land in this country right now. Also, no planes can take off from any airport anywhere in the U.S. Planes that are currently in the air must land, but it's up to the pilot and the individual airlines whether they go on to their destination or land immediately.
And also we're told that the area around the UN has been closed off, shut down. We have no idea if there have been any threats in that area, but that has been shut down as well. It may be precautionary.
Right, the UN just a few blocks from here. We have some people over there, and hopefully we'll bring you some reports from that soon. That would certainly be a high priority. In the air are being ordered to land. The highest security clearances, highest levels of security are being ordered across the country.
Okay, there are also now unconfirmed reports of anonymous planes in Virginia, right around the airspace of Virginia. So only imagine as this happened during the start of the workday here in New York and in Washington, D.C.
And you'll remember back in 1993, Lynn, at the attack of the World Trade Center then, that later on, as the entire scope of the plot began to be learned, that they believed they had plans, that they believed they had uncovered plans.
There were a few people who went to trial for that, still serving time for that, convicted of that. And the message after that was that there is more to come. We've heard rumors of that. We've been on alert for that for several years. They're focusing their attention now on that as well. We have no idea, obviously, no idea who might be responsible for this. No one has claimed responsibility, and we have no idea of the magnitude of the human casualties. We can
where terrorists were then waiting for people to flee Manhattan and bomb possibly the George Washington Bridge, right, or the Holland or Lincoln tunnels.
Now you're looking at
for that reason, everything
right?
is closed out in and out of the city.
And this is a shot you're seeing right there of the earlier attack back in '93 of the World Trade Center. 6 people died in that attack.